Hey everyone, we're in front of Rockbite HQ and yeah, let me show you around. Hi Patil!
Hi!
Is this thing on?
Hey guys!
Yeah, go for it.
Welcome to the Sandship livestream. We're really excited to be here with all of you today because we've been working on this project for a little over 2 years and we're finally reaching the release.
Sandship is a factory management game that is going to be for iOS and Android platforms. It's a game about a huge vehicle that drives over the desert and its goal is to just make stuff. I mean, you probably are, and we are too as well, big fans of games such as Satisfactory or Factorio. And our goal was to bring this kind of experience of factory management and micromanaging, making stuff to the mobile platform.
In May, we were actually able to go pre-beta, where we were able to give the game to a small group of players. So they could play, they could give us feedback. We heard a lot of good things, a lot of suggestions that would help make the game better for the player.
I mean, based on that, we did so many things, right? And we actually, a lot of delays happened due to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to do this. It's a very complicated game to put on a small screen. So in terms of UI, we had to redo a lot.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Boris. I do a lot of UI changes and our developers hate me.
No. Okay, I got it. I got what I want to say. I got it. We'll be playing shortly, but until then, let's take a chance to meet some of our developers and artists who worked really hard on Sandship and hear their input.
Awesome. This is Ed. Ed is working on our sound design and also he's one of our game engineers, so it's kind of two things in one person, which is pretty cool. Lately you were working on this really cool stuff that struck me as particularly interesting, which was that the dialogues in game when we have characters talking to each other, so instead of having an actual voiceover, we created this dynamic system that generates the sounds, like alien sounding sounds, based on the text that is being spoken.
So the idea was to create this procedural voice, like a speaking effect, and what we got is basically this.
Right.
Like this.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Raj and I am the concept artist.
Sandship has its own language.
Yeah.
And you came up with that language.
I struggled a lot on my notebook and did some research like how angular and rectangular forms, shapes can tell you about some hieroglyphics. And you need to know some about our game lore to know where to find that symbols. But I don't remember which one is it.
Hi, I'm Gaia. I'm working on a character. This little fella just fly around and painting everything to yellow because he loved that color.
Hello, I'm working on backend, but not only. That's the backend logs for our game. And I see an exception here. I guess we are going to fire away.
From the first day I have arrived at this office. So if anything is broken, so fire ahead. They are still trying to fire. Right now I'm working on ship hologram UI. So you see this thing? It shows when you open the ship upgrade screen.
Right now I'm working on new promo art. It's kind of cool to show the Sandship universe from another perspective.
You are active on Discord.
People think I'm a guy.
I'm not.
I'm working on puzzle building UI, which allows us to create puzzles and solve puzzles.
My job also is about data analysis. It's a serious stuff.
So hi, I'm Noemi. So I work here as a project manager. We're like in crunch right now. So working really hard and testing everything to make sure that we deliver it on time.
We have this nice storyboards for the chapters in the game, and this is the chapter 2 that you're gonna be playing somewhere around level 5, I think. This happens at night as Sandship arrives to a weird stone kind of structure. In the game, we have this thing that's called Underworld Pit, where the factory management meets tower defense, and it's a lot of fighting and a lot of shooting and a lot of monsters. And I really like what our art team did here with all these little pictures. All right, this is getting too long. Do you want to play the game?
Let's go play the game.
Guys, let's go play the game. Hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear us? We need to know if it's working before. Yeah, they can hear us. Cool. Hey, hi. Hi, it's me. My name is Avetis, and this is Patil. Patil is community manager on Sandship. So, hi there. It's our first time we're doing something like this.
Yeah.
So I hope it goes well. And so here's what we're going to do today. We are going to be playing the game. We're going to be. Damn it, there are some people.
We're
someone
playing
says
the game until Avik is reading up on some of the comments that we're getting. I just want to let you guys know I am dealing with the community, and when we did go alpha, like I mentioned in the video a few minutes ago, I did play during that point, but as mentioned, he does a lot of UI changes as well, so I haven't seen the game in the last few months. So a lot of the things that you guys are going to be seeing are actually new things for me too.
Right. So the idea is we're just gonna quickly play the tutorial, and then we'll just talk about the game, talk about some parts of the game how we developed this and all, and then in the middle we just find maybe a moment to answer some questions.
Yeah.
And then answer more questions at the end.
So what we did is actually on our Discord, I had opened up a channel where we had a questions for stream. You feel free to write into the Twitch chat as well, because we're reading it as we go along. And a lot of the questions are things we're actually going to be answering through the gameplay. A lot of it is things that you guys are talking about in the chat. We'll try to get to every single one of the questions as long as our time permits.
Right. Someone is saying that something's wrong with audio, Patil. There's they can only hear one from one side. Should we fix that first?
Is anyone else having that issue?
Everyone can, because I can see it's just in one thing here, but did we check that? Balance, left, right. I don't know how to fix this actually. We should probably just continue like this, and then, because it's going to be the game mostly. We'll try to talk louder. I hope that will help. Sorry about that. I'm not sure how to fix that right now, right? Can we? I don't know, because that's probably complicated. Let's get into the. Let me just start the game really here while we try to fix that. So not be very loud. I can actually fix that just like that. Is that super loud now? Is that okay? Right. Suck my drifter, best quote ever. Right. So, actually, here's what we need, let me just switch to the game here, because we're going to play soon. Let me see. Click on.
1 second, we're getting the sound fixed.
Yeah. Just a sec. Right. Audio settings, take the checkbox, force audio thing to mono. Just let me try that real quick here.
Our sound guy's here.
Can you fix that? Just give us a minute here. So we need to force the audio settings to mono somehow. Can we do that? Oh yeah, we can. So mono. Yeah, is that better? Yeah, that should work. Cool. Did it fix the sound, guys? Yay! Whee! Cool.
We're back.
So we're back and the game is ready. So let's play the game, right? Shall we? So yeah, we're just gonna go through tutorial and then comment a little bit. So it's fine, right?
care about the audio game.
So yeah, the game audio should be turned on. Can you guys hear the game audio now? Nope, no game audio.
All right, we know how to fix this one.
So let me just quickly fix that. No game audio. Properties. Second, speakers. Digital audio. No. Oh, because it's for speakers, but it's not for. I think that's the only way to, like the speakers, that's when it moves here. Why doesn't it do the same?
Let me check.
So should we play now or should we fix this first?
We're good.
We're good? Yeah,
All right.
audio is back. Cool. So you guys can hear it, right? The game audio. They can hear it, right?
They said yeah.
They said yeah. All right, we're gonna play the game. So cool. So I'm just gonna go through it really quick. So this is the tutorial part.
Yeah.
They still can't. Some say they can't.
Chat here.
Okay, I'm gonna bring the chat here so you can see that as well.
No game audio. I can't
So
hear.
this is kind of a little hologram here. Too quiet.
The game audio, not us.
They say some say they can hear.
Huh? Game audio?
No game audio. Why does it show that it?
Let's just add it.
So audio input capture. I'm gonna add that, and then capture that from. How do you capture game audio? Game capture. Yeah. Maybe we say Sandship. No scale. That's unclear. That should be working.
Can we maybe continue without the game audio?
Well, that sucks. We want to continue with game audio, right? Where's the chat?
It's over here.
A lot of reverb.
Yeah. Do you want to do it through the dynamic?
Well, wait, because I broke this. Audio input camera, this should be deleted. Okay, so fix this, just can't do the game audio, I guess.
We could put it on from the speakers and they'd be able to hear.
Hmm?
If we put it on from...
No, that would not work, right? No, let's play the game without audio. I'm sorry, guys, we're gonna play without audio. So let's just play the game. All right, so these are the two devices that you see first in the game, and this left one is called synthesizer, right?
Yeah.
But Patil knows that because she already played the alpha version,
Yeah,
but
this
she's
part
new to
I
some of
know.
this stuff. So yeah, and this other device is Explorer. Basically, what happens here is that you make some stuff on the left and it goes to the right. So we're just gonna start this factory, and this is going to be not working, right?
Yeah.
Right, belts are not connected.
RV is telling us.
So we're going to just drag like this, and the belts are connected now. And if you start the game, the iron ore is being collected on the right, and that's fine. So they say new power button. Yeah, a lot of UI has been changed during last months. So we're going to produce something.
It did not look like this when I was playing.
Yeah. So we're going to produce something more complex here, which is iron plates. We're going to use press to do that. So you're going to press iron into iron plates. And this is, spoiler alert, we're going to not work now because press is jammed.
So from what I understood from my time playing Alpha is that it's kind of similar to Deep Town, but it's not at all, because in Deep Town we had these buildings that were doing the entire function. So we'd had, let's say, the smelting building that would do everything.
Right.
Here, you just have a bunch of different devices that you're putting together to put different actions or
Exactly.
outputs.
I mean, what we're trying to do is to make your actions more, more quantized. So you have a lot of small things to connect together, and that means that you have a lot more combinations of making things, right? So in this case, we need to heat the iron first so that it goes to the press. Otherwise, the cold iron cannot be pressed. And yeah, so that's the end of the initial kind of introduction tutorial, and we're just going to go into the cinematic. I'm really sorry we can't hear the sound though.
Yeah.
It's such a good music here.
But you can hear the sound.
I can hear the sound. Can we do that? Can I? Yeah, let's do that. Where's the green thing? Can you rotate that? Maybe that get it from the mic. It's something. Awesome.
Sorry about that. We have tested this like 5 times, and right when we were going live, it just decided to start working.
So what happens here is that when you zoom out from the factory, you kind of discover the first time that this factory was part of the Sandship. So this is the first time you will see the Sandship in the game, and it's kind of tied up from all the locations. It's in the middle of some sort of village, right? And we have to find out what's going on here. Someone is asking if Deeptone and Sandship are in the same universe. They are actually in the same universe. There is a small connection there that we're not going to talk today about, but there is a small connection. They are happening in the same universe, but in very different timelines.
Yeah.
So there is very little overlap. The first thing we need to do is to claim the resources that are being gathered. Right now we're gathering iron plates, so we're going to claim that. And the next thing to do is that basically whenever you make something, you want to sell it. And that is happening through this little place here. This one that looks like a loot box.
It's not a loot box.
So the idea here is that basically everyone in the universe, whoever lives on this planet, they kind of they're looking for new items to be made. This world has lost the power to manufacture things, and the Sandship is the only entity in this universe that can make stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the people that live on this planet, they have these useless boxes laying around, and they have money, and what they need is to exchange your stuff for the money. Now, in this case,
XP for it.
and you get XP for it. So in this case, there's someone who wants 5 iron plates, and they're willing to pay 125 credits for that and give you a box. And this box will contain some science information from the previous engineers. So I'm just going to send that, and this is going to take some time because this is being delivered, and we're just going to skip that and claim what's inside. So we have 125 credits, and we also have a red data card, which we will learn how to use in a moment. So a data card can be used for research. Now the thing here is that the Sandship was asleep for quite some time.
Yeah.
Sandship was asleep for about 1,000 of years, and it forgot how to make stuff. Now the planet and whoever lived there, they had this old engineering crates there with data on how things are made. So the Sandship is going to just relearn.
The Sandship is going to relearn everything at this point.
So at this point, we want to research a cutter device to make iron rods.
Okay.
So you take iron plates, you cut them, and it's an iron rod, right? So we're going to research that. This will consume the data card we just had, and we're going to collect our research. So that also gives us a lot of XP. Main part of XP comes usually from researches. And we're going to go back into our building and see our quests. So someone in questions asked if we have a quest system. That's our new quest system, and that's a lot of redesigned stuff here.
Yeah, definitely compared to what I had seen.
Right.
This is a lot different. You have graphics of what you're going to be actually making. And should we show them now or should we wait on that?
Let's just play the game.
Okay, let's play the game, and then there's a lot of things that we need to show.
Right. So at this point, this quest is asking us to repair the front track of the Sandship. So Sandship is broken, it needs some repair, and we're just going to repair the front track. And this is how it's done. We need some iron rods to make, and this is a little screen that explains how to do it.
How would we be making the iron rods?
So to do that, well, basically this is the second part of the tutorial that will explain us how to do that. Now, that's a great opportunity for us to learn how to move and manipulate devices around the screen. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna drag the exporter here. Oh yeah. So there are two modes here, and so we have the extend rotate mode, and then we have the move mode, right? So we're gonna switch to move mode to move the exporter around here. And just a reminder, the exporter is the device that expects your final output.
So it's collecting everything.
Right. Someone asked, is there an option to skip the tutorial? There isn't at this moment, but if you guys think that's a must, let us know. This is something we would love to consider. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the rotate mode and just rotate this. And then this is my favorite part. Like whenever you're in extend rotate mode, you can just drag your finger like this, and you just like extend the belt system. Whoa, just like that. And so we have all the belts connected to the new exporter, and then you put cutter here. Now you may ask why we put cutters so far away from the press, and the reason is that because if you click on the cutter, and we'll see that later, it expects the plates to be cold. And they are molten at this moment, right? So if we just look, a molten plate will be pressed here, and it will just then cool down as it drives through the belt system, and then it just cuts into rods.
So there was another question that I had seen in the chat a little bit before in terms of like the heating system.
Right.
They were like 7 degrees, that's cold.
Exactly. Oh yeah, someone asked like, why is it 7 degrees? In Sandship universe, it's like, it's so further in time and it's so disconnected from the current world. There is no Celsius. It's a completely different system. So the 7 degrees is not 7 Celsius. It's 7 something else.
It's 7 something else. We just know that it's hot.
And I'll tell you, 7 is hot. 7 is really hot. Right. So the next thing we do is, because we just ruined our previous setup with making plates, we're just making rods now. I say we just put another plate setup here. So I would do something like this.
And then Avik, could you also show us again? Okay, so if we put the iron ore in again, because someone is asking, how did you get the iron ore? It all comes from the synthesizer. You said. So
the synthesizer is the most like initial device in the game. What it does is that, well, I mean, I have to probably start from here. The Sandship is located on a desert, and this desert, it looks like it's sand, right? But this isn't the sand. Can you make it sound slightly less? Do like this, and so this is the sand. And this is called substance, and substance is that mythical kind of thing that we have in the game that basically helps you produce anything. So synthesizer, it's like this magical alchemy device, well, if you can call it that can take substance in, and then it will produce any kind of chemical element out of it, if you know how to do it. At this moment, in the beginning of the game, we know how to make iron ore from substance.
From the research that we did.
So no, that was already learned.
Sorry.
So and you can just make iron ore at this moment, but then later on you will be able to click here and select another material, and then you produce something else, and we'll show you that later. Now that we're producing things, I would say let's claim them and see if we can complete this quest, right? So we can collect our sweet credits and fix our track, which is great. Always wanted to fix a track. I really love this cute robot that just goes underneath. He's the only one that gets to go underneath. The other guys are just working at the top. So yeah, that was quick-ish. Now, what do we have to do next, Patil? So our next objective is to repair the engine. So repairing the engine requires to do basic grease extruding, have a purification rod, and have 100 iron wires. Now, if you don't know what purification rod is, and you see something like that in a quest, you can just click through it. You just click on it, and that will take you to the glossary. Now,
so this is what I wanted to get to, because a lot of our players on the Discord also had a question if there's going to be a tree, if there's going to be a glossary, because there's obviously a lot going on in the game. There's a lot of materials. There's a lot of different things that you could do.
Right. So in Glossary, at this moment we're looking at the purification rod, which is an artifact.
Yeah.
And we have a lot. We have this tab that's called collectibles, and if you look, there are a lot of weird, interesting items. And the idea here is that while there is there are basic items that you can produce, like, I don't know, engines and things that you kind of understand how they work.
Yeah.
There is also this huge kind of science direction that is more engineer related. And so the engineers in the past of this universe were making this weird kind of devices that you have no idea how to make anymore. So you have to take them as a scrap from whoever lives on this planet. Now we need to find a purification rod. We can't make it, but it's really easy to find because we will just sell something and ask someone to give it to us.
Okay.
Now to do that, that's one thing we need to do, and the other one is we need to research the basic logistics. So we need a red data card for that, and to do the red data card, we just so what is it? 111 iron ore. We just sell that, and that will give us two things: purification rod and a data card.
Things that we're looking for.
So it will usually give you whatever you need. So it takes some looking around.
They're
but
saying that they can't hear our audio.
They can't hear our audio anymore.
Yeah. Can you guys hear us now? Oh,
They should be. Audio is fine. No,
Okay,
it's fine.
sorry.
So I'm gonna send that again and claim that again. Let's just get several of these because we're also increasing our coin count here. So we have 8,700 coins, which should be fine. And yeah, the basic logistics is an amazing research because it unlocks grabber. You probably all, if you play games like Satisfactory or Factory, you know what grabber is, right? It just takes something and puts it on the belt. It's a grabber, yeah, it's in the name.
We're also
so we're also going to level up. As I said, research is the main source of XP. So whenever you do XP, you do research, you get a lot of XP to level up. And yeah, so our belt-to-belt quest is complete. We still haven't prepared the engine. For the engine, we need to do basic extruding, which will unlock the extruder.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. So we need the trigon, right? Was it the trigon that we need? No, that's not a trigon. Does it look like trigon? So we're just continuing. Oh, are we making iron ore? Because we're getting low on the iron ore.
Yeah, I think we had. No, you did not set that up.
Oh crap.
Sorry.
So yeah, actually we're going to be low on iron ore. We have just 88.
Yeah, we need a lot.
So we can just do it like this, maybe. Sure, that sounds fine. So that's cool. We are looking for a data trigon. Data trigon. Yeah, so red data trigon. So used by engineers, trigons contain a sizable amount of experimental data for scientific research. Yay! So we can do the research. We can do the research to make ironware. We collect that.
So these graphics that are also included are new, and I didn't know they were actually in game. They were just given to me for social media, and then I saw that they actually appear in game too.
So Patil, we need to make some iron wires. Now, so my favorite way to do this is to here's what let's click on the extruder. You can just click on a device and see what it makes. So in this case, extruder can make iron wires from iron rods, and just needs the rods to be molten first.
Yeah, because the color difference tells me that it needs to be hot. So
yeah, I mean it looks hot, right?
It looks hot, so I just need to make sure.
So I'm just gonna stop that and reposition the entire setup. This top thing, I think I just want it down, just like that.
This is my favorite part of the game.
Why?
I can't lie.
Why would we?
Because before it was very, very difficult to move everything, and when you're having different setups and you're trying to output and input different things, this just makes it really easy for me.
Set in the same universe. Well, never played. Oh, okay. So Patil, we move this down. I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put 3 grabbers around here. Because the grabber, this is the first grabber in the game, so it's kind of slow. I think we need to put. I would make this much better with a splitter.
We don't have enough iron ore. I think we need.
Well, let me collect that. 209. I think this should be enough. I'm gonna do this and heat it up, and then extruder, and then just like this. I think.
While Avik setting this up, I want to say we're not ignoring your questions. It's just a lot of it we're going to be getting into.
Right, we'll get to that a little bit later. Promise. Patil, can you write this down or
I'm following along.
Okay.
It's a lot of like repeating questions and don't worry, I got it. I've written it down by me, so we could get.
Yeah,
to
we will
it.
totally get back to that. So let me start that. Is it working? Yeah, so this is kind of you get a spoiler alert on this right panel where you kind of already see the output even before it actually happens, which is something we have no idea if we want to keep in the game or don't, because like on one hand it's great because it's great because you know if the factory, you know if it worked before it did, right?
How fast my things are outputting, but Avik, while this is all going on and we're collecting our iron wire, which I think takes a bit of time, could you actually show us what the substance is about?
The substance, right? How do I show that?
Because there's the input of 15.0.
Ah, right. So I mean, if you look on the right side, you see that there is like two things. That's one is called input and one is output. So right now we have these 3 synthesizers working, each of them consuming 5 substance per second. And so eventually we consume 15 substance per second, right? And that substance is being converted through this building to iron plates, iron wires, iron and iron rods. So this is like everything iron at this moment. And what happens is that your Sandship also passively collects substance. If I'm not mistaken, if I click here, we'll see that our Sandship is collecting 20 substance per second.
Okay.
So the next upgrade will do 30, but right now we're making 20 and we're consuming 50, so we're in surplus. Right, so we're making more than we're consuming, and that is why this substance thing at the top shows 1000/1000, because you're not, you're making more. You're not using it to its capacity. Yeah, but we will soon. We have the quest ready. So this one should be fixing the engine.
Oh no, this is in the movie.
Right. Cool. So you never get used to how powerful it is. We will have a better animation for this part. We're still working on how the engine should look. We have no idea, but we want it to be really powerful and to feel very powerful. So we have this last research for this part of the game, which is the injection molding. So the shaper will be making iron bolts. Now I'm going to research that really quick. And sweet XP. What is the thing that we want to do? Oh, and by the way, actually, let me just, first of all, we want to make plates with the shaper, right?
Yeah.
So, bolts, right?
We want to make the iron bolts.
Well, one thing we can do is to delete this one, and put the shaper here. So we make part of them will be iron wires and the part of them. Now, in this case, the shaper is really different from the extruder. So extruder, it knows what to do depending on material it gets. So it gets rod, it will make a wire. But in terms of shaper needs to know a recipe. It needs to know what to exactly produce. And so in this case, we just can produce rods, but like you have to select it first. You kind of program it to do something in particular.
Okay, so like the more we play, the more recipes we're going to unlock and the more we're going to be able to do with one built device.
So my next set of diagnosis will take a while to finish. Explore the area. A good engineer is always aware of their surroundings. Now that's the other part of the game that I would love to talk about, which is you kind of, when you play the game, you kind of in these 2 different modes. Either your Sandship is driving, and we'll see that pretty soon, or you're kind of in a specific location that you have to explore or complete a lot of quests, right? So in this particular, the game starts in this particular location where you're stuck in this weird village. And now whenever you have time, you can do your exploration and see whatever is there. Now, so we have the quest that says exploring the camp.
Yeah.
So the top of the biggest building to find out more. And we have this little building. I mean, it's the big one.
I just also want to point out that when we started playing the game, it was day and it's now turned to night.
Right, we do have a dynamic weather system. So sometimes we control that for the sake of story. Sometimes it just changes as time goes. Now we started the game at night and it's going to transition to the daylights pretty soon. But let's click on this thing and see what's going on. So a corroded particle accelerator, hold out the brand new tech Get Rusty. Look at the rickety building on the right. Right, so what we want to do is to look at this another building that is on the right and see what he wants. There is a dude that wants something from us, and I'm just gonna zoom on this one, and we completed the explore the camp quest, and we have the, yeah, we just need to click on this and quiet down.
Okay, so now you're really exploring, and
Yeah.
this guy is being very, very rude to us.
Yeah, this guy is super rude to us. There is someone that hates the Sandship, or the fact that Sandship has woken up, and he's like, sell me some iron, will ya? There isn't even a scrap of unrusted iron in this forsaken dump. Well, there isn't because they don't have synthesizers. So the Sandship is the only entity that can make a pure iron out of nothing. Magic.
That was not planned. I want to point that out.
Ha, all right. So what we need to do here is just to, so we made some iron, right? So we're just gonna drag that on that building. You can just go and drag that on it and just drop it.
turned green.
So are you happy now, Gramps? And we got some coins in return, which is great. So we sold that iron and completed the quest. So the old Iron Man is complete. And then we also have the structural stability quest complete.
Oh, because we have enough iron bolts now.
Right, so I'm just gonna complete that. Boom! All right, end of chapter 1. Now, here's what happens when you finish the main quest for the location. You can leave the location, and if you end the chapter. And there are several chapters in the game. Now, we don't want to leave this chapter now, and the player has the choice to not do that. So I'm just gonna close this dialogue for now, and we want to stay here. And if you want to explore more as a player, you always can stay and explore. There is no reason for you to rush this.
Yeah.
And in this case, I want to show you one of the Easter eggs. Nothing a lot of things in this camp are clickable, and you can search and look if you want to find something cool. I'm gonna show you one of these things, which is that I know of.
Just say, sorry for cutting you off. So when I was interviewing everybody for the video that we were doing, the intro video, I found out there's a lot of Easter eggs actually hidden in the game that.
Right. So I have this tower here that is broken, and it looks kind of out of place, so I want to click on that, and this says it's a broken water tower. This is how water was distributed before the synthesizing. It should be in a museum. Now he just found something, so maybe an old data carrier, and I'll put this into your inventory, and we have this little thing here. Now if we go to our inventory, which is this button here, and go to lore items, this is the item we just found. Now there will be a lot of items like that hidden in the game. And
so everybody is now screenshotting this and trying to get the lore of.
Yeah. So I don't think. So this one is called 44th Engineer, and it's a little story about Harvey. So I don't think this one is a big secret because we already posted this text on our blog.
This wasn't a dev diary.
So it wasn't a dev diary?
Oh, it was the comic.
It wasn't a comic. I don't remember, but there was a comic and there was some little story to it.
Yeah.
So we posted that, but there will be a lot of things like that you can find in the game if you look hard enough. And the bad thing here is that if you don't, if you leave this chapter and you don't find it, then you will never find it. So we definitely recommend looking around before you leave the place because you can't come back.
Okay, so I can't come back and I'd miss all the Easter eggs at the same time.
Right. So I'm going to end the chapter right now, and we're going to be transferred into a cinematic. Right.
All right.
Okay, it's cool. So we see that we're leaving the Sandship. We're leaving the camp here on a Sandship. So this is the first time your Sandship kind of drives. Right. That's my favorite part. I love this part. So we have this little starting credits in here.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you have to watch all of it. It's not like you're stuck with the screen. The game is playable at this moment, so this cinematic is already done playing, and your Sandship is out. So we can completely continue playing. You can go inside, do your stuff. We will see the credits, but there is no no one is forcing to just watch.
It's not stopping me from playing. I don't have to watch the entire movie. I am watching the entire movie, but I could continue doing whatever.
You are watching the entire movie.
I am. I'm watching all of it, don't worry.
So, our next quest here is that we need to reach level 3, right? So reach level 3. I mean, to do a level up, I would say we need to, just do research.
No, we could claim...
Oh, we can claim some bolts and then maybe send a contract there. Sell this for What did we need? Like a data card?
Okay.
Is this the data card we need? Let's send one more. Yeah, this is the one we need, right?
Avi, before you get out of the contract screen, if you could go back.
I'm just gonna start this research. You wanna go back here?
Yeah. So because we're already on level 2.
I mean the second one?
Yeah, we unlocked a second contract at this point. So the times are obviously a lot different, and the credits and the XP that we're getting are different.
So you cannot, the idea is not to be able to do several in time, because you see they hit different times, like this one is 10 minutes for 56 coins, credits. This is 2 hours for 1,290. And the idea here is that because this is a mobile game, so you play it on your phone, you can't like constantly play it. You have a decision to make, like if I want to play right now, if I'm just in it, then I will be just constantly sending these quick ones.
Yeah.
Because I'm just there, I don't want to wait, right? I want to just do this immediately. But if I'm gonna go do something else, so not play the game for 2 hours, then this is the one I want to do, because that will bring me more coins.
Yeah, and more XP.
So that is just to strategize how you plan to spend your time. There is no difference in terms of value in these two. So yeah, and the next thing I want to do, I mean, we can continue playing the game as it goes, but I suggest we do something else, Patel. If you just lower the sound a little bit, thank you very much. Yeah. So I say what we need to do here is, well, I mean, let's first level up, of course. So we need level 3. And I'm just gonna quickly show you something in the quest panel. And there's
okay, can you show this window too? Because when I saw this window, I was really happy because I've been able to scroll through
you can scroll through the list, because sometimes you unlock a lot of things in one level, so you need to be able to scroll. Now, I want to show you something else. If we collect this quest, we get another quest, and this is a weird quest that we get here, which is we have basically a transmission from another guy, but we don't see what it says, so this quest is slightly different. Right, so this is someone else contacting us, and if we click next, it's another character, which is called V-Maker. So V-Maker is a dude that is a descendant of an actual engineers, but because it's been such a long time in this universe that no one has seen a living engineer, V-Maker is super surprised. Like, he is very surprised to see an actual Sandship, right? And so we ask you some questions, and you have different ways to answer this, but I'm not going to show you this now. We're going to just close that. And the thing we can do now, because we leveled up, we can increase the size of Sandship. So this is the other thing that happens, that the Sandship can grow in size, because like right now a Sandship has this one factory on it, one building, but you want to play more, you want to put more to that, so you have an entire city of factories, right? So for that you need to increase the size, and that's what we're going to do. So this is the second size level for Sandship. Okay. I'm going to stash this building. You can actually, you have this place where you can stash your buildings, so I'm going to click here, properties, make this slow, and gone. So right now Sandship is making nothing, it has no buildings on it. So let me press some magic buttons. I'm actually pressing buttons to cheat in the game because we want to progress slightly forward. Don't worry, this will not be available in the production version, but to show you these things that are from slightly future levels, we just need to get us some items. So this button at the top is where we get buildings. So these cost coins, and I'm just gonna buy some of them and show you what these cool buildings do. Now we have puzzle building, Sandbox building, and the Underworld building, and these are pretty cool buildings. Now usually you have buildings that do nothing. So usually it's a building that is just empty, and you decide what it makes, right? So you put things inside, and it does whatever it does.
That's the basic building that we were originally in.
Right. Now I'm gonna start with the puzzle building. So I mean, what I see with the buildings, what I see with these buildings is that not everyone will enjoy all kinds of buildings. So these are like targeted to different players. Yeah. So maybe you don't want to play puzzles, but this is a cool building we have. I'm gonna go inside the puzzle building, and we're greeted by this new bot, which is called bot 18. So the puzzle building is a building that asks you to make something in particular. Now, in this case, we have a new puzzle waiting for us. This one wants us to make iron rods
At
and
0.5
iron
per
plates.
second.
So
and-
0.5 per second plates and 3 per second rods, and this is what we need to achieve given this setup. Now, this setup is just like you already have some devices there, and you cannot move them, so they're already there.
Okay.
So we need to position new devices there, and need to do that. Now, I just want to be clear here, I didn't make this puzzle,
Yeah.
so someone else made it, and we're just going to look at it and see what we need to do. So plates and rods, I mean, that should be
While
easy.
you're doing the setup, I just want to point out the yellow and black underneath these devices aren't missing textures. They're just
Right, this means that you cannot move these devices.
Okay.
These are just put there.
'Cause that was a question
Now,
we had.
I mean, this will not work, I assume, but I guess this is the initial. Oh, this is this kind of puzzle that tries to like lie to you, because I'm pretty sure this will not work. Look, if we make iron plates, this should cool off, but then the heat gun is hitting it back, so you cannot do that. So we just need to like
got it,
avoid
Master.
that.
I'll check it out.
All right. This. Oh, and the other thing is that you can actually, like, you can rotate them. Like, there are different puzzles where you can or
blocked
cannot
again.
rotate
You
them.
didn't input.
I'm gonna, because I need to rotate. I think I can rotate this item, right? This is rotatable. So there are several puzzles that, like, you can or cannot rotate your devices. In this case, we can. So I'm just gonna do this, and let's rotate this as well. So this should work.
Nice.
Okay, so we do rods, need 2 plates. Oh, this is easy. I'm just gonna do something like that. Oh wait, this is stupid. We could have just rotated this.
A lot of people have concerns about the puzzles and if the answer is going to be online the next day. And I think what Avik is going to be explaining
Right.
in a little bit will actually.
So that's a
answer
good
that.
question. I mean, here's the thing about puzzles. First, I mean, there are a lot to say here. First of all, puzzles will be user made.
Yeah.
So it's not like we will make like 100 puzzles and that would be it. There will be a way, and I'll show you how to do that later, for players to submit their own puzzles through the game. So there will be, every day you'll get brand new puzzles. And yeah, obviously someone will put that answer somewhere on the Wikipedia or somewhere, but I'm pretty sure that when the puzzle just comes out, a lot of people will jump on the puzzle, will solve it, and there are several cool things to it that you get to solve a new puzzle every day, then you get to create puzzles, and then if your puzzle is popular, then you will get some kind of reward. We're still thinking about what kind of reward should a player get if his puzzle is popular, and how do we, or her, yeah, but we make this huge gallery where people can vote on puzzles. Like in this case, I can like this puzzle and I can claim my reward, so I can show that this puzzle was interesting, and if this puzzle is popular, it will be shown to more other players.
Okay, it'll like more players will see the puzzle because it's liked more.
Right. So I'm just going to claim the reward here, and claiming the reward just gets you next puzzle. We are not going to solve this one because we have more things to show. Yeah, let's stash the puzzle building. Oops, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to stash that. Please go away. Thank you. So the next one that I want to show is the sandbox building. I think I've seen the question someone asked, is there a sandbox in the game?
Yeah,
there is a sandbox in the game.
Discord,
now,
I
right.
had to be very quiet about that one.
So here's the sandbox building. Now, the first, like, what you need to do, like, it's a very special building in the sense that when you go in, you have all of the devices that are ever in the game already unlocked.
And
look
are
at
they
this
free?
huge. They are free. They cost nothing. You have everything in the game that you can use here, and as much as you want. And like, if you even click on this button, you can set the size of the sandbox building. So I can say 1010, okay, and that's it.
All right.
So you can make any setup basically, and the only the catch is when sandbox building produces something, it isn't actually using resources, and it actually isn't actually giving you resources.
So I wouldn't be able to claim what I'm making at the sandbox.
So the idea is that it's a simulation. It's a fake production. So you use sandbox building to try things out, to learn new setups, to see if they're good or not, to save your blueprints, and actually to save blueprints to create a puzzle from them. So you create your puzzles here in a sandbox.
All right.
So actually what I want to do is create a new setup here. I want to, so me and Patil talked about what we want to make, and we want to make an oil production. We think that oil production in Sandship world is pretty interesting because like in other games and how it usually happens on planet Earth, things like water, oil, they just come out from underground, right? So you have this, or from above. I mean, you have this on your planet ready. Now, the Sandship's planet, which is called Noranti, it's lacking all of that. So we have only substance to make things. So we have to produce everything from scratch, and that adds its layer of complexity. So first of all, let me go to glossary here. Let's learn on how to make this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write down oil, and we're just gonna open oil here. And now look at this. So oil is made from using compressor, and it's made from algae. So like. You're kind of trying to take this process that usually takes millions of years and like make it in several seconds. So this is the magic that compressor does. So the compressor takes algae and it like puts enormous pressure on it, and we'll see how to do the pressure part. And then you also need to heat that, and that will make you oil.
Okay, this sounds confusing to me.
Now, I'm going to show you that later. But first of all, when you see this on the left, you see this algae and water icon. We can click on them and see how they are made. So if you want to make algae, you need a grower for it. So you grow algae in a grower. And to grow algae in a grower, you need water. So you click on water, and water is made in chemical mixer, where you need to mix H and O, because water, well, it's H2O, right?
That much I know.
Right, and so these little guys are made in synthesizer, because as I said, synthesizer is this cool device that makes the simplest materials from substance. Yes. So first of all, let's produce water. So where's the thing? So I would be needing a chemical mixer here. I'm gonna do that, hydrogen, and then I'm gonna choose oxygen here. And if I just do that and start that building, then we have water filling in. This is what I wanted to do exactly. So grower, back to grower. I'm gonna put one here, one here, one here, and then do it like this. So just connecting the pipes. And we need to also choose recipe. So the grower can grow any kind of stuff, right? So we want it to grow algae. I'm just gonna select algae for all three of these. And I'm sorry, I need to drink my water.
So no, the game won't flood if you don't put it to exporter or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about liquids. Oh, I didn't select this one. Yeah. So if we do this, then we will have algae growing in it. Boom, boom, boom. Yay. But that's not enough, so we want to collect that. So you take algae and you kind of collect it with a grabber. So I'm just gonna, let's put, oh, this happened before.
Hey guys.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a bug here, but I think it will work just fine. I can hear actually sounds of them freaking out on all of these bugs. Good job, guys.
Someone mentioned that it's late by us, but it's not only us in the office. We have the lights on.
Lights on developers are there freaking out about everything that goes wrong.
And the artist team, not only the developers.
Yeah, a lot of people are here.
Everybody's in the office.
So they're screaming.
Yeah.
Stop screaming. Okay, so Patit, we're collecting.
Yeah.
Do you want to see how we collect the algae first?
Yeah.
So will this work? Yeah. So algae goes on the belt. Now we need to put it in compressor.
Yeah, because it's kind of just stuck there.
Yeah. Before we get there, the first thing we want to do is to make more water. Now the reason we want to make more water is because the compressor is using its power, the way it compresses things, it needs boiling water, as in steam. So it needs a steam power there. I'm gonna first mix some water in a mixer. And then I'm gonna just put some boilers. I think we need 2 boilers. So it has to be superheated water. So we need to put 2 boilers here instead of 1.
For 7 degrees.
So it has to be more than 7 degrees. It's a lot of temperature, by the way. And so I'm taking the compressor. It's gonna be put here. We're gonna use grabber to put algae in. And the other thing we need to do is to actually heat the compressor from the side. So I'm gonna do that as well.
So that's a heating gun.
So someone says, won't the water evaporate? It will. So your water is gone through the process, but its power is used to do the compression. And if I just turn this on right now, so the heat gun hits the compressor, the water is pushing in, and all we do is just push some algae in, and the pipes should fill with sweet oil.
But Avik, the algae's collecting a lot on the boat.
Right. I mean, at this moment, as you can see, the setup will just stop, and the reason it will stop is because the algae is not putting in because the compressor is full, and compressor is full because the pipes are full.
Okay.
So we need to get this oil somewhere. Now, in Sandship, there is no way for you to put any liquid in your warehouse.
Okay.
So you can't just store liquid as is. You need to put it like into something, into a container. And in case of oil, it's stored in a barrel. So if I just go to glossary and say steel barrel, you see the steel barrel is something that can store oil, and you make it using shaper. You already know shaper, and shaper is making barrel using a heated steel plate.
Steel plate.
And steel plate is made from steel.
And the users haven't gone through how to make steel.
So yeah, so I'm gonna just we need to make steel now. Well, probably everyone knows that steel is made using carbon and iron, and we're gonna mix that in mixer. Now I'm gonna go here and do that, basically. I'm really good at steel. Someone asked, will the machines break? At this moment, there is no thing like that planned. We haven't ever thought about machines breaking, because that will make that if machines break, that means that you just, you left the game and you came back tomorrow, and then you're like, well, everything is broken, sucks. So I don't know, I don't want that to happen. I want you to leave your game knowing that you set up everything correctly, and then you just you just come back and everything is just fine. Now, someone actually, I've seen the questions, someone asked.
Somebody from our team was answering.
Really? All right. No, they don't. They do not break.
But there's another.
All right, so they break in terms of you can have a jam in the game, so you will have them break at the particular setup, but you will see it and you will be able to fix it. It cannot break without you being there. So actually, someone else asked if in Deep Town you have this thing that in offline and online modes you have different speeds of processing.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be the case for Sandship. In Sandship, it doesn't matter if you're online or offline. Everything works as it's supposed to work.
At the same rate.
At the same rate. So I hope that's good.
That was a question that actually they hadn't asked, but I think that everybody would be very happy.
Now, so back to our steel production. We're going to mix carbon and iron, and I have a mixer here. And so from here, we should have steel coming up. If I turn it on, you can see that steel will be coming out from here. This is steel.
And you have to make that into a plate.
And while it's hot, I would say we press it immediately, and then maybe also shape it into steel barrel. Let's see if that's fine. So we are making steel plates, but it's pretty hot, and I'm pretty you don't want to pour oil in a hot steel barrel, right?
Yeah.
I assume it will catch on fire, and let's cool that down with an ice gun, just like this.
So we had the heating gun, now we have the ice gun.
Right. I'm gonna send this belt to this location, and this now the question is, how do you, so you have oil in a pipe and you have a steel barrel, how do you put your oil in a steel pipe?
Yeah.
Now we have this another device that is called applier. Basically the idea is it's a universal device that is ready to apply any kind of liquid to any kind of solid, and in this particular case applying would mean pouring it in, right? So I'm gonna take the applier, put it here, and hopefully we will have, and just this has to go to here, and if we click here, then we will probably have this all working, I hope. Yeah.
We are,
so you already have
probably
the steel. That's probably, you have a steel barrel at 0.42 per second, and so barrel goes in, and oil is put inside, and then it's a steel barrel with an oil inside, right? So that's a sandbox building. You can do whatever you want. You don't actually collect oil, but you can try any kind of setup and learn. Now, the next thing I wanted to show, the last thing we wanted to show, is the Underworld building. Now, this is the least developed thing in the game. We're just making it, but I want to tell about it a little bit, and then we'll answer the questions, maybe, Patil, right?
Then
do we want to
will
answer the
answer
questions before we do the Underworld?
There are a lot of questions that we could answer. For example, one of the users actually it's not even a question, it was a statement, let's not spoil everything, and I would let you answer it, but I'm just going to answer it instead. I feel like there's so much going on in the game that if we were to talk about all the recipes and all the devices and everything, we would be here for a good like 5
we
days.
cannot talk about everything. So we just plan to talk about Underworld building, and that's it, and also answer all of the questions.
Yeah.
Right. So Patil, do you want to get the list of questions?
That we're having, the top ones is monetization.
Right, the monetization. So yeah, I've seen some people talking about that, and there are several key points I want to mention here. One is that we had, like several months ago, we had a big discussion, I think, on Reddit from a lot of players about that. And we just want you to know that we've seen it, we've heard you, and many people were saying we don't want to have a game that is like basically based on a free-to-play mechanic. We don't want to have microtransactions in the game. And well, our takeaway from that is that we take these things kind of seriously, and this is a valid point. Some people want to play it one way, and some people want to play it the other way. And we're definitely going to have a way for people to choose. So we're discussing this. How can we make people to just pay once and have a different experience? Now, if Sandship is ever released on Steam as a PC game, then this will be definitely pay once type of game. And for other cases, we'll maybe let players decide for themselves. Now, take this with a grain of salt in the sense that, now, how do I put it? We have this huge task list of things to do, and we have this task basically that says like figure out the monetization. And we hate that task. We just keep ignoring that because at this moment all I want to know is how to make this a fun game, how to make this to be interesting to play, and we honestly just don't want to consider that. I mean, if you look at the place like like at the shop, all of these things, they are just empty. We haven't made them, we haven't even thought about them well because we're not concerned with this. We just want to make a good game. So I hope that answers it. I guess the takeaway is that we understand your concern. We want to make a good game. So yeah, what would be the other questions?
Okay, next question is, have we thought about what platforms it's going to be on, what device requirements there would be? For example, if we were releasing on Android, what would be the lowest?
I mean, we try to do, we work on the performance all the time, and we'll try to focus on that more closer to release date, which we'll talk about today. But right now, we tried it on many devices. As of right now, I would say definitely this will not work on some very low-end devices with this build. But whenever we're close to release, we'll do our best to make it work on very weak devices and old devices as well. So I think most of the players will be able to play it whenever we're ready.
Okay.
Really quick, someone asked, will you have something similar to blueprints in Factorio?
Oh,
yes, we will. So as I said, in the Sandbox building, you can make any setup and save it as a blueprint if you research the blueprints. And then you can even share, we were thinking about this functionality for players to share blueprints with each other online and vote on them. Okay,
so would I also, for example, be able to use my blueprint from Sandbox and put it onto my basic building?
Right. So, something else?
The next question I think would lead into what you're going to be actually going into right now. Players were asking about multiplayers. Is there going to be a multiplayer functionality?
There are several things that we think is a multiplayer functionality. One thing that will be the first one to try in the game and is the simplest that you will get when the game is released is the online market, where the players will be able to sell each other whatever they craft. So they can sell things to each other, and the way we plan to make this work is that there won't be a global huge market. This will be localized to some player groups. One of the ways we want to approach that is that we will put players in some sort of map. So that will be a fake map where they're located. And that will mean that different players they are positioned in different distances from each other, right? Which means that, if you want to sell something to someone, there is a shipping time. And the shipping time means shipping fee, and that means that if you're selling something for 10 credits, then, and if they're too far away, then you will be selling that for 30 credits. So they don't want to buy from you, they want to buy it from someone else.
So it's like a bartering system.
Right. But the thing is, if you're close to someone, you don't have to compete in terms of good price on an item with everyone in the game. You just have to compete with very few people, and that way you can excel at the production of something in particular. Now, the most interesting thing about market is not making iron ore and selling it to someone, because that would be stupid. But like in Sandship, there are some items that are not just priced because they made from something, but they have some user work put into it. Like, for example, you have a device called printer, and with printer you can actually make a pixel art images in-game using some specific like building that will do that. And that pixel art images then can be later used to put in your buildings to make them prettier. And maybe someone doesn't want to build them, and someone is very good at making them. So you can actually sell that to other people, and that is your actual work put into the game that you can sell for credits to other people, and they can buy them, and your shop will be popular or something.
I think everybody would also be very, very happy to know that the game is actually server-side.
Right, the game is server-side, so the bad thing is you cannot play it offline. The good thing is there is no cheating possible in the game, so that's great.
I just got a message to reiterate that in terms of monetization, it's not going on Steam now. We're kind of up in the air, and we're still deciding on what direction to go in terms of everything. So
as soon as we have the game that is interesting, this is the moment when we say, all right, everyone is happy with the game, then let's think about whatever it comes next. Do you want me to actually show the Underworld building? Because that's the fighting mechanics that people were asking about. So Underworld building is one of the ancient buildings in the game, and Underworld is a sort of place where you produce a thing called Everstone. Now, let me show the Everstone here. Is it in materials? It is in materials. So if you go to the bottom of the list, you see this thing called Everstone, and Everstone is the most rare material in the game. Like, ignore the price right here. This is the fake price. It's not going to be the right price.
Yeah.
Now, Everstone is produced using Resonator, and Resonator is a specific device that can produce Everstone after some amount of time. I will show how it's done. So you go to the Everstone building, and this is the only place when you can actually when you can actually put the Resonator in. And it has the Resonator, and we put it in the middle. And if I started building, you can actually also, please note, there's this
on the top left.
On the top left, there's this 30 seconds. Right? So what 30 seconds means is that Resonator will require 30 seconds to produce one Everstone, right? So I'm going to turn it on, and it will start producing the Everstone. So I'm starting this. But the other bad thing that happens that because of the way it works, it also makes this little guys pops up. So these are called drifters. I know you think they're cute.
They're really cute. Sorry, the first time I saw them, I still think they're cute. I don't care if they're taking the Everstone, they're not letting the Everstone grow.
Right.
I think they're just nice to look at.
Yeah. So the logic here is that like a moth will fly on the light.
Yeah.
The way the Resonator works, trying to harvest the material from other dimension, it kind of makes drifters really irritated. So the only way they can survive and live their lives and do whatever they do is by destroying the Resonator. So whenever it's on, they're trying to destroy it, but it needs 30 seconds to produce the Everstone. Now, while it's on, what we want to do here to produce our Everstone, because right now we're not producing any, we need to protect it.
Yeah,
right?
and we can see the timer going down, and
so I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to, one way to do that is to put walls around it, right? So maybe we just put a wall. Build a wall.
Don't build a wall.
Why does that sound funny?
I just want to say the players all agree that the drifter is cute.
I know they're cute. I mean, that was on purpose. That's a guilty something that I have to admit. We did it on purpose. Our artist made them cute. That's happened. So I put walls around it. Let's see what happens now. So I'm just turning it on, and I know I didn't produce Everstone, so somehow this didn't work again. So drifters come in again, and they destroy the wall very quickly because they're trying to get to the Resonator.
Yeah, off the flame.
Right, so that didn't work. They will get inside eventually. This is a flood of these guys, and they are destroying it. So we have just 10 seconds, but they will destroy it in time. So barely made it, but sadly we didn't. Now, one thing to point out here is that Resonator is a very powerful tech. So what after this 30 seconds, like after 30 seconds is done, if it produces the Everstone undestroyed, it will do this thing like basically travel back in time and reset everything. So like in that movie with Tom Cruise, like what was the name of the movie?
You lost me.
There was a movie, and
It was a movie.
so basically there they could reset the day, and this one is resetting this 30 seconds to the very beginning. And if it does make an Everstone,
Edge of
it will
Tomorrow.
constantly make Edge of Tomorrow. Yes, this one.
Someone wrote
I
it.
love. Yes, thank you. So like in Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of tomorrow.
Jesus. Okay, like we got it. Jesus. Yeah, so wall isn't working. Let me delete this wall. Oh, actually, like one thing we can do is try to direct them to go somewhere in particular. Like if I delete like this part in a wall and do something like that, then drifters will try to move here instead of breaking the wall, and this will take them longer, right? So some of them still try to break the wall because this route is closed now by other drifters. So that didn't work. Now, what we actually have to do is to put some turrets here. We have to, well, I know they're cute, but we have to kill them. I'm sorry. So I'm just gonna put a turret here and another one here. And I would like to move these walls maybe like here. Do something like that. So right now the turrets are set to be shooting, like there is an actual ammo you can produce for turrets, but there is like you can actually shoot with the worst projectile ever, and that would be iron ore. You can just put iron ore in and shoot with iron ore. That would be the cheapest and the worst ammo. It's the weakest ammo, but it will work on this level.
In that case, I would need to have the iron ore in my warehouse?
No, you can just put a synthesizer. I mean, you need to produce it here.
Okay.
So we will do something like that. This is going to produce iron ore. I'm going to put, I mean, this is a very simple setup. So we just put this here. Now, usually you would have a bigger building and you will make a complicated ammo and it will be more powerful. And the way this works is that Underworld building can be upgraded. So every time you upgrade into a new level, it becomes more complex. The drifters get more angry, and you need to be better at this game, right? But you also get your building size increased, so you have more room to make new stuff.
So the more I'm ever able to actually get the Everstone, my Underworld building will actually increase in size?
Yeah, so it increases in size, it gets you more Everstone, but drifters are more angry and they're more smart, and then you just move. So let me start and see this works. We already know this will work because this is producing Everstone, and this is because these guys are being shot. Yes, spoiler. And we know that after 30 seconds we will protect the resonator no matter what. Even though these guys are almost getting in, they will not make it in time. Alright, okay, this little guy is almost like killing the belt, so the production of ammo will stop, but I don't think they have time to do this. So we have this little timer, so 5 seconds, and then we have this 3, 2, 1, and we protect it. So this will start all over again, and we made an Everstone. And then we make more Everstone. So at this stage you can just leave the building, and you know that it has this different animation, you know it's producing Everstone, and it will always produce Everstone if you just leave it like that. Now this isn't a lot of Everstone, and that's your incentive to upgrade your building and make more complicated setup to make even more Everstone.
Okay, and since we deleted our basic building to be able to put the Underworld, we just need to actually go through the game, upgrade our Sandship, make our Sandship.
Right, naturally your progression will be you will have much bigger Sandship. If I actually use a cheat console right now, I will probably be able to make a big Sandship for us. Should I do something like that? Our developers will definitely hate me doing this. I just have this magic button, level up, level up, level up. So bigger Sandship. Even more bigger Sandship. I don't know, do we want even like
No, this is enough. I'm scared.
All right, like let's keep it at that. And so whatever the buildings I had, I can like put them back, and they're here, and this is here, and this is here, and I can do different things. Right, someone says the track is broken. Like, okay, this is for our developers. They need to see this.
They're watching.
The track is broken. It is.
I'm glad that we're taping all of this, because
right, this
you're
will be
going to show
useful.
everybody tomorrow saying there's a bug here.
Right. Okay, this is getting out of hand. They're starting to hate on us. All right, Patrick. So I think let's see if we have more questions, because this is all we had to show for today. I think we need to talk a little bit about what happens next, right?
Yeah, I think that's what everybody's actually been very patient,
Right.
staying very patient, but it's kind of time that
So
you need to tell them.
okay, so we're not going to exactly announce a release date today, but here's what we're going to tell you. So what is it now? So it's end of January, right?
Yeah.
Here's the plan. We're going to fix all of these things. You already seen what we have in the game, and we're working right now on the several chapters of the game that come next in the story. And after that, let's not look at the track. Let's just go in and watch this while I'm telling you.
Can we go into the basic building?
Right.
Because someone might have just joined and not seen the basic building.
Right, so I'm
actually.
just gonna, maybe I go just here. This is cooler.
Okay.
Now, yeah, so what I was saying is that the plan is the following. We're going to spend another month working on this, and in the beginning of March, we're going to do the open beta. That means that in the beginning of March, anyone can play. So it will not require any beta case. There will be a link on our website and distributed everywhere. And if you want to play, you can play on Android and iOS. Now, that does not mean worldwide release. We'll do the open beta. We will spend some time, and I don't know how long that will take. Maybe another month, probably another month, and then it will be a worldwide release after that. So beginning of March, open beta, and then we release that as soon as we can.
I just want to say, like, finally, because I've been bombarded and Bullion has been bombarded for like months saying, when is it going to be released?
Right.
You said winter. I'm just very happy you finally
I know
told
it's
them.
slightly not exactly winter. We are very sorry about that, but I mean, we want to deliver a quality content. You guys want quality content, and you can see that we have a lot of progress here. It's almost done. It's almost ready. We just need to make sure it's like, I don't know, the track isn't broken. So fixing this track will take us some time. You know that in Sandship, fixing the front right track is a big deal. It's not just a part of the game, it's also a part of the developer.
Stop zooming in.
All right. So let's see if you guys have any more questions. Let's have that in last 5 minutes and then end the stream, because I think we talked about most of the stuff. So let's see what they're saying.
Okay. All right. Let me, while you're reading the chat.
While you do, someone is asking if the tutorial will be in German. I would say that we will be having, like when the release is ready, we will be having game translated to most of the major languages. So you will have the game in most of the languages, probably in the language that you're speaking.
Someone had actually asked if there's going to be deep storytelling, and obviously we kind of went over that with the lore item that we did find, and that there's going to be a lot more lore items, a lot more stories. It depends on you how much you want to delve into Sandship and Aya and
the main part of the storytelling is happening when your Sandship is entering a chapter, and then it goes to a specific location, and then you're stopped in that location. So you have a lot of exploration to do. You will learn a lot of stuff, and that's where the story happens. And we have a lot of story ready for you and planned to be ready. So it's still in the writing. We are planning. Someone actually asked a question about, like, will it end? Like, is there an end to the story? And the way, and there was also another question about prestige. Now, quickly answering the prestige one, there is no prestige in the game, but in terms of the story, there will be a beginning, there will be a middle, and there will be an end. And we will not, like, at the moment of release of the game, the story wouldn't be concluded. So, like, you will have, like, at the beginning you will have some amount of chapters, and then we will release new content in terms of new chapter every month. And then whenever we're done with that at some point, and we plan about for the main story to be around 10 chapters. Don't quote me on that because we don't know the exact number. It's about 10. So we'll have the story end at that moment, and then when the story ends, you will play the game in the universe that is left to you to explore in terms of, like, what are you going to do next. But the main story will be done at that point. So yeah, something else? Someone says, I don't see the popcorn. We don't have a popcorn. We had the Cheetos there, but I ate them.
Someone was eating popcorn, and I really, really wanted popcorn, but I got sidetracked by coffee because it's late here.
Okay.
In terms of translations, you already went over it because a lot of people are worried that the game's only going to be in English, because obviously right now we're doing the Twitch stream in English as well. The game is going to be translated to a lot of languages, like Avik said. And we're doing our best to make sure that we cover as many as we can.
Right. Someone says no closed beta today. No, sorry, there is no closed beta today, and we will be doing immediately the open beta, as I said, in the beginning of March.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do a closed beta with a track not working. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Are you looking at that?
I wouldn't advise cheating your Sandship to the largest size like someone is suggesting right now.
Well, someone asking is like, will it produce as an idle game? Like when you're yes. So do you see this? Like whenever you're in your Sandship, like this is the thing that it produces. Like on the right now, producing 0.5 Everstone per second. Now that means that if you turn the game off, it will still produce that. So the Sandship continues to do whatever it does. It doesn't matter if you're there or you're not there.
All right. Fabs is actually asking.
Will there be more Twitch streams? We can do that. I mean, the only problem with that is that you guys want us to deliver in time. That means that starting from today and till beginning of March, we want to be like extremely super busy actually fixing that track on the Sandship. So that will take some time.
But I will make sure that there will be more Twitch
Someone actually
streams.
asked, like, this is an important question. Someone says, like, you will get to the capacity of your containers. That is indeed true. So, like, you need to come back to the game in order to claim your stuff or increase your containers. Do some research to do that. So, if you don't play a game for, I don't know, a month or whatever, even actually shorter, like, if you don't play a game for several days, it will not just continue making you infinite amount of materials. You have to play the game. If you don't play the game, you don't get infinite amount of materials. So, Patil, anything?
I think we've covered almost all the questions. If you guys have any last second questions.
Right, just looking at the chat, it's 4 months to resolve. Yeah, the track is complex. When the story is finished, will there be anything meaningful to do still? Yes. I mean, there is a lot of things that you can do in the game already. It doesn't matter if you progress to the story, right? You can be producing some things that others don't produce and selling them on the market, so that's a lot to do. But there is one more thing that we plan in terms of multiplayer that we didn't talk about, and that's actually a great way to say that. Now, we have another thing planned for multiplayer, which is actually related to the Underworld. Now, one of the things, and we haven't actually done that part yet, so this will not be there during the release. This will be probably done a little bit later. But the idea is that we're thinking that one of the coolest mechanics in the game, and we tried some like we had a lot of talks about that, is to have the Underworld building done in a way that you get a PvP game instead of PvE game. So that basically you have resonator on one side and the resonator on the other side, and these are two players matched together randomly based on some criteria, and you get this. The way we see it right now is that you have this limited amount of time, which is divided in two. So the first stage is that you both are making a setup against each other. So you have both like defense stuff and attacking stuff, and you're seeing what your opponent is making, so you kind of try to figure out their strategy and try to make something that will defeat their strategy. And then when you're done, the time is over of the first part, and the second part starts. And the second part is like what you see here. This is more of automated, let's look at the battle. And so the battle goes and you see who wins at the end, and this will be a multiplayer kind of fighting mechanics that you can do all the time. We are not there yet, but we'll be talking about this later when we are more ready.
Someone made actually a very good comment that you just happened to go right over, that bugs that happen during cheats don't count as bugs.
That's true. Right, so no bugs. That's great. The track is all right. He's actually right.
That's true.
Still, let's look at the track.
What's about playing in a team together? We just addressed that. I think we've addressed mainly all the concerns that we have for today.
Right, so I guess that's about it. I would like to say that thank you everyone for joining us today. It's 1:23 a.m. at night. which is a lot. So, but I guess for many people it's different time. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to show you everything. I hope you guys liked it. We really love your feedback. We want to know more about what you guys think about the game. What can we improve, and what do you expect from the release? We have a month and a bit to finish that.
And he said it live on Twitch, so it's set. We have a question in terms of, is there going to be a recording? Yeah, we're actually recording.
Yeah, this is being recorded. We're going to put that on YouTube, and this is also going to be archived on Twitch.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's it. I think we should, like, there will be constantly things within the chat. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'm going to be ending the stream now. I hope you guys enjoy it. Yay!
Have a good night or day.
Have a good night or day. Stopping the stream.